Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets&Quants. I'm here at the C.T. Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. We're about to talk to the dean, and we're going to talk about the school's strategy, its mission, and what Bauer is all about. Come and join me on the trip. So after spending the day here, I've come to a conclusion about your school and your students.
Okay.
And I think that this is where the American dream is still alive. What do you think about that?
Actually, that's what we aspire and hope to do. And we try to provide an opportunity to as many worthy students as possible. One good example of what we're trying to do right now, and there was a very recent institute that we started with the help of the Wayne B. Duddleston Foundation. And we call it the Free Enterprise Institute. And building upon our strength on entrepreneurship. Basically, the idea of this institute is to provide the seed funding, the support, the institutional infrastructure, if you may, including technical advice, legal advice, and the idea is to help students start their own businesses so they can promote the free enterprise and pursue the American dream. And so that's one of the examples that we really want to promote, starting their own businesses, entrepreneurship, innovation. But kind of more broadly, not everybody will necessarily start his or her own business, but we really want to provide an opportunity and try to make education accessible, affordable, at the same time try to provide the best possible education. I don't want to cut corners. I want to be competitive with the very best schools out there in terms of curriculum, in terms of the support, the services, the knowledge you create, the connections to industry. So I don't want to say I want to compete with the very top schools, at the same time providing as accessible, affordable, convenient for as many students as possible. And what I mentioned, I'm very passionate about being the success metric of student success is the placement. So as long as we can place 2,500 or 3,000 or 10,000 students a year, as long as they can get good jobs out there at all levels, I'll be very happy to do it at any scale we can afford to do that.
Now, you're in the difficult job of transformation. And what I mean by that, a lot of schools throw that term around, but the truth is you have a lot of first-generation students, 40%. A lot of them are also first immigrants here. A lot of them look at you as an immigrant who's been very successful as an academic and think of you as a role model. And people who come here are looking to really transform their lives and see it as a vehicle for social mobility. So that's a very noble but also challenging cause, and I wonder how hard it is to fulfill the promise of transformation.
Well, basically, I like transformation in the sense that we like to innovate, do things better, and of course, ultimately, not just because we want to, chase accolades. It's more about, delivering on student success. And your actually observation is really spot on. Most of our students actually, about 44%, almost half of them are first generation. More than half are Pell Grant recipients, so they rely on government aid to complete their studies. I mean, almost 90% work while at school to make ends meet. So basically, we have a pretty tall task to prepare them while with all the challenges around them to provide that very high quality education. So in that sense, I don't see myself as a role model. I like to be visible on campus. I try to meet students and I make an effort to talk to all of them one way or the other and going to the classrooms at orientations and try to more like set the expectations that we are really here to help you succeed. We really want you to get your dream job. We'll do our very best here to help you get there. And whether it's the faculty, the staff, you met some of our people here, and you see their dedication, whether it's career services, the advising, the administrators, some of the faculty, they're really passionate about the student success. And so am I, so we try to do our different ways to get them there. And ultimately, especially when we have graduation, and I can very reliably say, well, all of you, have a good job, or you go to graduate school, or you have some good career ahead of you. That makes me very happy. So, and that's something that I feel very passionate and very happy about at graduation, or when we see the success, those numbers close to perfect placement. I was very happy today that unofficially we have $70,000 average starting salary for our undergraduate students. That makes me, very fulfilled as an individual.
Absolutely. And placement in the 95+% range as well, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, 97.4, John.
we go.
Yes, I'm very passionate about numbers. And of course, as I told them, I want 100%. I will only be happy when I see the 100%. I know it's like an inexact figure and the knowledge rate and everything, but I really want every student to succeed. And I'm very happy to see very almost perfect retention, graduation, and ultimately placement. So if I see those numbers close to perfect, that makes me quite happy.
And I noted that the first place you visited after you became dean over 4.5 years ago was the placement office. Why?
Well, actually, it was even before I even became dean. So I remember it was sometime in April I was about to start the job in July, and I was visiting Houston, and that was the first place I visited. And it's actually kind of outside the main building, so it's a smaller building. And I went to the second floor and went there and announced no meetings, no nothing. I just say I came here. Most people didn't know who I was because maybe they didn't see me. And I was like, oh, I'm the incoming dean, and I'm just trying to see. And everybody was like, wow, who is this guy? And the question I asked Jamie Bellin, who you met earlier today, was that I saw some numbers online, I didn't like them, and how can we make them 100%? And she was like, we can do that. And let's work together. Let's do that. That's what we really want to do. And I was very happy back then. Of course, we discussed resources. And even today during lunch, she mentioned I'd like more resources. And of course, the more we grow, obviously, we need to build upon the staff, the people, but also the connections with industry. And that's something I spend a lot of time as well, trying to build connection with industry, try to meet the people, try to tell our story, and also listen to what they want to from us. And I kind of jokingly, of course, understand the student is ultimately our customer, but I tell jokingly, companies, the employees are our customers, because really we want to produce very high quality products for our students, and we need to train them, prepare them, and place them into industry. So basically I say to employers, to executives, you're my customer, tell me what you want and I'll go back and produce it. It's easier said than done, but basically it's more like understanding what they want in terms of the curricula, and of course it varies by discipline, it varies by topic, by degree. But both myself and also the colleagues, they have this tendency to be out there learning what employers want, and we come back and say how we can update our curricula, our programs, our degrees, what do we need to do to get there and satisfy whatever need exists out there.
Now, what makes me incredibly impressed about all this is that you arrived as a well-published, successful scholar and academic, and yet the first place you visit is connected to student success. How did you know how important that was?
Well, it's I mean, that's why I'm in this job. Definitely, I understand the value of research, academia, and we're all in the business of creating knowledge as well. But ultimately, it's about disseminating knowledge and helping students succeed. So I would say research and everything we do is a means to an end. Means to create, of course, more broadly, not just student success, but also helping organizations, helping society through the high quality students and the talent that we produce. But basically, the research is just a means to an end. And and of course, I still value very much academia and research, and we have invested a lot in our faculty, providing the resources, the support to improve upon research, our productivity across multiple areas. So that's definitely a very important part. We want to be leaders in the creation of knowledge as well. But I think what we try to do is the combination of creating and disseminating knowledge. So whether it's the research faculty, working very closely with all teaching faculty, whether tenure track, non-tenure track, even adjunct faculty, and in the curriculum is blending the best of research and practice. So we say in our in our mission, everything we do is founded on research and grounded in the real world. And we mean it. So we try to get alumni, employers, people from our board to advise us on what industry wants. At the same time, we also have our tenure track faculty, what is really happening in academia, and basically finding that perfect combination, if we can, to educate and train our students. Right. So that's our goal, and we try in different ways. So we did multiple exercises reimagining the MBA experience and broken down by executive, full-time, professional, online recently. We have done it with the undergraduate across different majors. Now we're in the process of doing the accounting. Accounting is undergoing a very significant transformation with changing the CPA exam, changing the profession. So we're doing that exercise there as well. So basically, we continuously strive to innovate, to look at things in how we can be at the forefront. I mean, we have our tagline, "The future is our business." So we try to be on the future. What is the future of business? What is the future of accounting or finance, of any discipline, and try to get there and prepare the students accordingly.
Now, when you arrived nearly 5 years ago, did you have a vision and a strategy for what you wanted to achieve?
Well, I had ideas. So we had some ideas in terms of course, the aspiration to become one of the best business schools, ultimately to focus on the student success. I had some ideas of experiential learning, because I really believe that it's not just theories, but you need to apply them to be effective in practice. But we underwent a rather quick but very extensive strategic planning process. It probably took 3 to 4 months. It was quite extensive in the sense that we involved, through surveys and ways to collect feedback, all of our 66,000 alumni at the time, all of our students, including student teams, a lot of board members, of course, faculty, staff, internally, current students working on different aspects. So very quick for academic standards. So basically, it evolved into the strategic plan, that the 2020-25 plan that we are working to implement as we speak. So the interesting thing, of course, as soon as we announced the plan in early 2020, within a month, COVID hit. So things changed quite a bit in terms of our ability to connect with industry, have meetings and conversation. Of course, from an instructional standpoint, we had to move everything online, a lot of challenges and so forth. But I think one of the interesting things about the strategic plan was going to be a leader in digital learning. And when I arrived, it was not at all our strength. We have very few, if any, online courses, no online degrees. So basically, we're almost starting from scratch. But I think because of COVID, also because of our determinations, we really excelled in that dimension. Now we're actually leaders in that domain, offering all of our courses in multiple formats, really interactive. I would say we're at the state of the art in terms of digital learning. We continued to push hard in terms of improving our programs, innovating, starting new programs. So basically, we feel pretty good after 3.5 years into the strategic plan, and we're hoping to fulfill everything, hopefully even ahead of 2025.
When I look at what has been done here in the past 5 years, I'm kind of astounded by it. So you launched your online MBA, you completely embraced digital learning, you've nearly doubled your endowment, you've brought in more money in the last 5 years than has been brought here in well over a decade. You've launched new programs. You've really changed the school. How can there be anything more to do? And you've dramatically improved the career outcomes of your graduates.
Well, thanks, John. That's very nice coming from you. I think there's much more work to be done. Definitely, we want to become even better school in terms of providing the opportunity we discussed, creating that avenue for social mobility for even more students at a higher quality. We have many new initiatives undergoing as we speak. So we're starting 5 new master programs. 3 of the institutes that we developed as part of our strategic planning in terms of healthcare, in terms of artificial intelligence and inclusive leadership, finally were launched officially this year. So my goal is to expand them, make them into a world-class institutes and centers similar to our entrepreneurship, sales, real estate, existing centers. So a lot of work to be done in those areas as well. We can still double again our endowment, hopefully, to even more. And I think the sky's the limit. I think we can. There is potential. I mean, the city of Houston has been growing, has been supporting us very much in terms of connections to industry, in terms of philanthropic support, both from individuals and corporations. So, but they have embraced the University of Houston as a key part of the city. I can go on and on in terms of ideas and thoughts, but basically I think what drives me is to see the continuous student success and at the highest level, attracting the very best companies to come here to recruit our students. So that gives me amazing joy. So happy to continue doing.
Plus, in my list of accomplishments for you, I forgot that you went from 1 global partnership to 40. And I didn't mention the fact that in rankings, no matter what you think of them, you've improved dramatically.
Well, it's, I mean, definitely global initiatives and creating a global mindset for our students was something in the strategic plan, something I really believe that is very important. And, both as a global citizen myself and also what I consider students of ours to have that global perspective, working in multinational corporations or hopefully having that global mindset was something that we set out to do. COVID didn't help. As soon as we launched the initiative, things came to a standstill, at least in terms of travel and in terms of global outreach. But definitely having more than 40 partnerships and having these opportunities for our students to travel to different locations, to bring a lot of students from across the world, that has been helping us quite a lot. And of course, it's nice to see the rankings improving, and especially I like rankings like the Poets&Quants in the undergraduate, that it's very numbers-based, quality of students, quality of outcomes, quality of what we do. That's what we really, we can show quantitatively that we're improving. We have great placement, high quality students. So in that sense, I really strive to improve those because that's what we really want to do, get the students to succeed, to do well. So those rankings, I'm very hope to get them into number 1 if possible, including entrepreneurship that is actually very quantitative based on the number of businesses your students start, how much money they raise. So if I continue to be number 1 forever, I'll be extremely happy.
And in addition to the Strength in Entrepreneurship, where you've been ranked 5 times number 1, you have an incredible sales program, and that's unusual for a business school. And yet we all know that the ability to convince others of your position, to convince others to buy a service or a product is essential in all of life, and yet most business schools devote little to no time doing it. You have an excellent program. You have excellent students who have terrific outcomes in it. How did that happen?
Well, I cannot take credit for the sales program. Actually, it celebrated its 25th year last year. And but what I actually would like to say is that from the very beginning, I did note how wonderful program it is, and it's highly experiential. Students have to fulfill certain pretty high quotas to actually go into the program and graduate. And some of them are, like the students in the key accounts class, they have to deal with 10, 50, 100K accounts out there, and you saw 26 companies on the board there as member companies paying these different amounts to be members of the institute, all handled by students. So from the very beginning, I said, this is a great program, let's invest further. So we hired more faculty in the area, including tenure-track faculty. So we have some of the best faculty in the world that publishing in the very top marketing journals. journals in the domain of sales, amazing corporate partnerships, and of course, most importantly, it's a joy to interact with the students and see how professional, how polished they are, and of course, listening to their outcomes. On average, you get 2, 3, 4 jobs, job offers per student.
Wow.
It's an amazing success. And of course, whatever you think you do in business, you are in sales. I really believe in that. So sales are very important. Whether you are in finance, accounting, sales is very important. And the real world really believes that sales is very important. And when I talk to companies and they say, you have an amazing sales program, we'd like to recruit from you, that gives me great joy as well.
And you mentioned experiential learning, which you have made a core part of the experience here for a student. There is no student who can graduate without a project, having done at least one, if not many more, right? Why do you think experiential learning is so important today?
Well, it's always been important, but I think it was neglected by many business schools in the idea of focusing on theories and understanding the principles, and then the idea is that you learn the principles and then at some job you can apply them. So they always considered to be like something that it's more like to the extreme, the vocational school. So you learn to do things, but they are not something that are absolutely necessary. Yeah. So, but at the same token, we said, okay, we're not going to cut corners on the theory, the principles. I want our students to have the best possible training. Like any other business school, they know, whatever their functional area, they are actually at the very top. At the same time, we all work harder than others, so basically they need to apply those principles. And I said not in a simulated environment like a case study, but more like ideally in the real world. So we have hundreds of companies as partners offering projects, real life experiences depending on the class, and we like to have as many as possible, including what actually our board suggested we call a Pinnacle project that tries to integrate everything that we have provided to the students in a multidisciplinary and real-life experience. And we're launching it already in our full-time MBA program. My plan eventually is to get it to all 8,000 students of ours to have a real integrative experience there. Many programs have it already, so in entrepreneurship to start their own business, or in the sales program to manage this key account, which is something very real and very tangible. So we'd like to see it expanding across the entire school. So we need, of course, more partnerships, more real-life opportunities, but I really think that helps prepare students for their career. So, and I hear it almost every day that, including yesterday when I was visiting South Texas, we have some of our alumni who work for some of the companies there, and they were saying, those are amazing students, and they come, they hit the ground running from day one, they know how to work, they know how to do things, and they're hardworking, they're diligent, and they're very loyal, and we love your students. And that's music to my ears when you hear about 500 miles away from here that our graduates are doing very well in companies after 5-10 years out. So that's very rewarding to hear that.
And of course, you're strong in energy because energy is such an important part of Houston. You have, I think, 35 different courses in energy. You have a degree, right, in energy management or leadership?
Yeah, my master in energy leadership.
Yeah. Interesting. And obviously that industry is going through a major transition right now.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to learn.
Absolutely. So we're continuously learning. I mean, energy transition is a very important topic, especially in Houston, around the world, of course, but here, in the what they call the energy capital of the world, it's very important for us to get it right. And of course, I think most people will agree that we are the energy capital of the world, but we'd like to be the energy transition capital of the world. And there's competition in Boston and San Francisco and other parts of the world. So basically, we work very closely again with industry, whether it's more traditional oil and gas industries or emerging companies in whatever space in energy that they are. And we really want to get it right. We really understand that the world needs more energy. and especially third world countries, developing countries. So, and we need to do it in as clean, efficient, and effective way as possible. And it's whether you like it or not, whether I know it's a very highly political topic, and we try not to get into the politics of it, and try to be in the academic, practical, and relevant aspects, with the idea that we want to work with everybody who is willing to work with us in terms of providing the knowledge, doing the research. We have an Energy Transition Institute that was actually supported by Shell, but we have many more industry partners. And there is research conducted at, I would say, across the board, all energy sources, try to make them cleaner, more efficient, more effective. That's kind of, everybody agrees with that, whether it's traditional oil and gas or any renewables. And accordingly, our courses often taught by industry partners as adjunct faculty, and we work very closely with them to see what do we need to know in terms of hydrogen, what do we need to know in terms of new business for the energy transition, ESG. So there are quite many interesting novel concepts that we need to be ahead in terms of leading that energy transition.
Yeah, true. Now, what are you doing to make sure that your students aren't replaced by a computer algorithm?
Absolutely. That's a very important topic. That's why I'm very passionate about AI. And actually, I give talks throughout the country, and basically I tell people, no matter what's your profession, you'll be replaced one way or the other. Whatever we do, including Dean, including you, eventually will be replaced. The question is when, and in the meantime, what can you do to use technology not to be replaced quickly or become more efficient and effective until this eventually happens. So what we try in the meantime until that happens, hopefully 50, 100 years from now, so I don't want to panic you, John, but basically it's more... So anyway, start thinking and says, well, not my profession. I say, whatever you do, it's whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a dean, a faculty, technology will replace you or kind of almost make you, not as necessary. But I say in the meantime, there's a lot of opportunity because we can make our jobs much more efficient, more effective with technology. I know AI is a buzzword these days, but basically it's more like any algorithm, any technology that can actually make our jobs better, our organizations more efficient. And I tell students, try to be on the design side of AI. An intelligent user, ideally the one who owns the AI, working for you, working with you, and trying to do things better, more competitively with your organization, how to get new products, more efficient processes. No matter how you can use technology, know how to do it and use it. Don't want to be on the losing side of being replaced, outdated, and so things will happen. So let's try to embrace it, let's try to use it, try to own it, and make the best of it.
So collaborate with it as you would collaborate with a teammate.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I like the term, I don't like the term artificial intelligence. I know it's used very liberally these days.
Yes.
I like the term augmented intelligence, and I say we need to augment our intelligence. Because the idea is that we have a lot of intelligence, a lot of judgment and emotional intelligence that we need to embrace and use. And we need to use whatever artificial intelligence is out there to our advantage. Whether it's an individual, whether it's an organization, try to use as much of it as possible and try not to replace the human intelligence. We're still quite intelligent, we have a lot of judgment still, and until we are completely replaced, I think it's, but it's an evolving exercise, and but I tell the last thing you want to do is just decide that I don't want to use technology. That's when you're gonna exacerbate how quickly you'll be replaced as an individual, as an organization, and so forth.
Yeah, really true. So the future, what does the future look like? I mean, there are a lot of people who are worried about the future, and it's not only because of technology, it's because, the world is an uncertain and unpredictable place. We're facing wars and conflict politically in this country and in other countries. There's great polarization. There's the increasing issue of income inequality. Yet you sell hope.
Yes. Well, I still think that I would say from our perspective, business can be a great force for good. You can create value through new products, at the individual level, create opportunity through our students working, creating new businesses. There is so much opportunity out there to create value. And I see business as a force for good. And of course, using technology in business, it's something that actually makes business even better, and using technology to make society an even better place. So whether it's AI or any technology for that matter is something that, if used effectively and productively, can make our lives better.
Yes.
And we're all worried about being replaced by technology, but of course we want that, because we don't want to work 7 days a week, 16 hours that used to be, 100 years ago. We want agriculture and manufacturing to be automated, because most people don't want to work in a factory or to the field. If somebody else can do it, it's better. And we can do more productive things in the meantime, more knowledge work, and of course, working less. And if we can reach a certain level of productivity without having to work 80 hours a week, but we can work 40 or 30 or even fewer in the not so distant future, I think we'll all be happier to travel more and read more books and listen to more music. So I think that's something that as civilization and society would like to all accomplish. And we're getting there. If you think about how technology has helped us over the last 100 years, there are quite improvements in the quality of our life. Yes. At the same time, I understand the issues that you mentioned in terms of politics, wars, conflict, and those not something that business school necessarily can solve. But many of these challenges are actually because of resource scarcity. So the more we can create value, the more we can create resources and use technology for the general good, I think we can create more of a positive impact on society. I don't want to sell hope and to be too Pollyannish here, but I think as a school also we strive to help society as well. And we have many programs, and we encourage very strongly our students to give back. And for example, I mentioned the program that our students consult aspiring entrepreneurs, so they're using their knowledge to help small businesses. Yes. We have the Small Business Development Center that helps existing small businesses get to the next level, or get loans, or get into even greater success. So I still see our role. Of course, our immediate role is to train and place students in industry, but also I believe that we can play a positive role on society as well. And that's something that we want to improve individuals, transform lives of our students first and foremost, but also want to play a positive role on organizations and on society. And hopefully at least play a small role in improving society, avoiding some of these challenges that we are facing these days.
For sure. There's an increasing sentiment among young people in particular. I don't detect it in your young people, incidentally, but among young people in general who have given up on capitalism. What's the case for capitalism?
Well, I understand we're trying to be very open-minded and discuss all issues here, especially if they pertain to business primarily. But we definitely believe in capitalism as a business school. I cannot talk about everybody around the organization, but certainly we believe that capitalism can also be a force for good. Yes. So obviously we want to believe in free enterprise. We want to start new businesses, and the idea is to create wealth. And of course, we can discuss about income inequality and the digital divide. There are many challenges down the stretch, but ultimately, we'd like at least our students, how we train them to think is, create wealth, create new businesses, do things better. And as I mentioned, we ask them to be also philanthropic, to also help others and give back. As a school, we have so many programs that we try to give back to less advantaged populations. We have a program, a prison entrepreneurship program. So our students help inmates how to start their own businesses. So after they come out of jail, they can actually start their own businesses. We have programs in the community that we try to educate them in terms of financial literacy. literacy. So we work with the Executive Service Corps of Houston to help small businesses to develop their website, their databases, so our MIS students can actually use their skills in a real life business at the same time help. So basically try to provide that positive energy that yes, your goal is to actually get a job after you graduate, but at the same time, think more broadly how you can better society. And I say our students are not the most privileged overall, but basically I think that still you're privileged, you're part of a great university, most likely you're going to get a great job, and we all want you to be very successful and at the same time think how you can give back. So I don't want them to give up on capitalism. I still believe it's an important system. Obviously, like any system, it's not perfect, and we can improve it, and through philanthropy, through support, we can make sure that we avoid the digital divide, the income inequality. So there are different ways to address those issues. So they're real, and we find different ways to address them through the current system as opposed to giving up.
Yes, totally agree with you. Of course, an important part of the economy in Houston, which is growing rapidly, is the whole issue of development and real estate. What is the school doing in this area?
Yes, real estate is actually one of the key areas of the school. We have a center, the Stanford Alexander Center for Real Estate, and we are studying this year a master in real estate. And that's actually a clear need from industry that they want students with more advanced degrees. So we had a graduate certificate, and they say we need more advanced knowledge. And to our discussion about technology, AI, there's so much interest and use of technology in real estate. I was visiting one prominent company here in Houston whose president is in our board, and they're extensively using technology, how to appreciate opportunities in the market, evaluate them, provide 3D images to prospective clients. So basically they're realizing that real estate is changing, and because of technology, and they need to be at the forefront of what is happening out there. Right. So we work closely with them in terms of providing the talent, providing different projects with them. So basically it's definitely an area that is very important for Houston, and they are needing a lot of great employees, both at the undergraduate level and at the graduate level. So at the same time, we want to be at the forefront of research in the area. So that's definitely another important area that we do. So basically, all of our centers have a very strong research component, an application through connections to industry, and of course the broader educational component, ideally, if relevant, across undergraduate and graduate level.
And those connections allow you to be very responsive to the needs of the marketplace, which is, I find, very true for business schools and much less true for other schools in the academy.
I cannot talk about other schools in the academy, but we actually, and we're very fortunate to be in Houston, and we rely quite extensively, including real estate, that across the entire board of our offerings, including energy we discussed, many of our specialized elective courses are taught by industry partners who are working in industry. They have years, tens of years of experience in their respective industries, and they can provide very specialized courses. Something that your typical faculty cannot provide because they're not at the forefront of hydrogen. It's not at the forefront of AI in real estate. Right. So areas that are very niche and very specific, and somebody who's working in the area can come here. And we have a nice program to embed them into the school. So basically they can be part of the entire curriculum, and of course provide the help with the syllabi. So once they're in front of a classroom, they can really deliver, but at the same time they provide that practical experience as well. And of course, besides teaching an entire course, we have all opportunities from co-teaching to guest lecturing a class or judging a competition. So there are different ways to embed them into the overall curriculum. And that's something that we've been very actively doing throughout our curriculum. And real estate is a great example. Energy is another one. Healthcare is another one that's emerging because of our connections with the medical center. So that's kind of our, secret sauce, which is not very secret, we'll publicly say to people. Rely on leading edge research by our tenure track faculty. At the same time, applying it, connecting it to real life practice, working with our industry partners, and getting very strong feedback all along. And,
that's a great formula.
Yeah.
It really is.
And we tell it publicly to anybody, so that I'll be happy to be copied if it's successful elsewhere, because I really believe in academia, in higher education, in business schools, and if that formula works, I'll be happy to share it very freely with anyone.
Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I appreciate it very much. Enjoyed it very much.